Hi everybody, welcome back. Today's class we're going to be doing the Iyengar sequence from the Association in New York, which is going to be the level 1 sequence 4 sequence. So if you have the handout that was given out, you can follow along with that. Okay, so for today's class you're going to be needing blankets to sit, 2 blocks, and a chair. Okay, so to get started, you're going to sit on your blankets first and cross your legs. And now what I want you to take your hands behind you, turn your fingertips back. And now draw the tailbone down into the blanket, lift your sternum chest, and roll the shoulders back and down. Now as you lift the armpit area, chest here, and shoulders rolling back, draw the elbows back to even widen the collarbones more. And then join your palms together in front of your heart without letting your shoulders come forward. And then slowly release the upper eyelids down to the lower eyelids. And now relax your legs. Have your tailbone curling down and slightly forward so your abdomen moves back. Sternum, chest lifted, shoulders rolling back and down. And now soften your eyes, soften your jaw. And breathe into the space behind your thumbs. We'll just chant the sound of Om 3 times. Now on the inhalation, lift the chest. On the exhale, bow your head. Release your hands onto your lap. Inhale, lift your head, and slowly open your eyes. The first pose we're going to be starting today is Sukhasana, which means easy pose. Sukha meaning easy, delightful. So this is Sukhasana right here. So now what I want you to do is I want you to reverse the cross of your legs so the other leg is now in front. And especially pull the buttock flesh out and back so you're directly on top of the sit bones. The sit bones are going to go down into the blanket so that your spine can lift up. And with the hip bones especially, you want to get the tailbone to curl down ever so slightly into the blanket so you feel the front of the hips move away from your lap. So you want to open up that crease in the front. Now as you once again lift your chest and roll the shoulders back and down, draw the feet in a little bit closer so that your knees are over your feet. And bring the heels slightly forward and notice the difference that that makes in the pose. So you want a wide base to start off with, the knees resting on top of the feet, the chest lifted, shoulders rolling back, and even move the face slightly back. And then release. Go back to the first side. So now, right now, my right leg is in the front, so I'm going to put my right leg behind the left leg. So now, same thing, I want to pull the buttock flesh out and back, so I find the base of the sit bones. Bring the feet forward ever so slightly, so I'm not digging my heels in towards my perineum. The feet are going to come slightly forward. Draw the knees in, so now the knees are over the feet. So now you have a nice wide base, almost like a triangle. Wide here, going in towards the tailbone as the tailbone goes down into the blanket. Once again, lift your sternum chest, roll the shoulders back. Sukhasana. Okay. And then release. So now we're going to be doing a twist. So what I want to do is I want to first show you what tends to happen in the pose. So from a side angle here, you can be the judge of how many blankets you need to sit on, okay? Now when you sit in Sukhasana, there is a tendency, from what I was saying before, how the abdomen wants to go forward, so that you feel how your lower back comes in, you're trying to sit back, and you get very crunchy back here. So the tailbone has to go down into the blanket. The abdomen will move up and slightly back, so then you can lift your sternum chest again. So notice how my back body is very erect, okay? Because now we're going to go into a twist. So I have to keep this lifting of the spine from the tailbone going down and the back of the head going up, okay? So that I feel this whole opening throughout the entire spine. So now as I start to turn, I'm going to use my hands, cross my hand over my opposite leg, take this hand behind me to hold on to whatever part of the blanket I can find. And then I twist. Okay? So now, facing forward. So when you sit in your habitual pattern, we're going to start that first. So same thing now. You want to bring the knees in so you're right on top of the feet. Knees over the feet. Shins close together. Bringing the shins slightly forward so they'll be like parallel to the front of your mat. So now as you get the tailbone to go down, okay, lift your sternum chest, tailbone down. So you find that verticality of the spine once again. And now we're going to go to the right. So take your left hand, cross it over your right knee, take your right hand behind you. So now pause here for a moment. You don't want to turn the head too quickly, so start from the base. Use your hand to draw the navel towards your right hip. Pause there. Inhale, lift the spine again. As you exhale, turn the ribs. As you inhale once again, lift the spine again. As you exhale, now use your hands. Press into the knee. Use your hand behind you to hold the blanket. So now you're going to turn the armpit. Get your left armpit to go towards your right knee and your right shoulder blade in towards your spine. So keep your chin first in line with your sternum here. Don't be too quick to turn the head. So allow the spine to start to turn and then the head goes last. So now as you lift the spine once again, slowly turn the head to look over your right shoulder. And ask yourself, did my tailbone lift up? Did my abdomen fold forward towards my legs? So take the tailbone back down, abdomen slightly back, but sternum chest lifted. And then to come out, you turn the head, then the shoulders, then the ribs, and then the abdomen over. So now just notice the difference in the sides. Now when you do the second side, once again, tailbone down. So keep the legs parallel to the front of your mat, shins close together, knees over the feet. So now draw the tailbone down, lift the sternum chest. And now as you start to exhale, you're going to cross your arm over towards your left knee Move the navel over towards your outer left hip. Pause here. Inhale, lift the chest. And now as you exhale, think of turning the right ribs forward, left ribs back. Inhale, lift the chest again. Now as you exhale, one more time, use your hand as leverage. Use that to draw the right armpit forward towards your left knee. Use your hand behind you to draw that shoulder blade in towards the spine. Now as you lift the chest, once again, lift the head. So you want to keep that vertical lift going up. Then as you exhale for the last time, slowly start to turn the head to look over your left shoulder. But tailbone down, chest lifted, so keep the lower back open. And then slowly turn the head forward, shoulders, ribs, and then lastly the abdomen. Good. Okay. The third pose we're going to do is Adho Mukha Virasana, downward facing hero's pose. Now, for Adho Mukha Virasana, depending on how you feel in your knees, you may want to use a blanket for a little bit of cushioning for the shins, the feet, and the knees. Now in this pose, you are going to be sitting on the heels. So you may have to make some adjustments depending on how the knees feel. If you can sit from the back, I'll show you, the toes are going to touch and you're going to sit right back down on your heels with your knees further apart. So from the front, it looks like this. Toes touching, I sit on the heels, and my knees are a little bit wider than the size of my waist. So notice how the size of my waist will fit in between the inner knees. Okay? Now, if this pose is challenging as it is, you can make changes by sitting on a block. Okay? You could put a block in between your heels and sit down on the block. So this way you're not going down as far. If this is still too much of a challenge, you could definitely put a blanket on top of the block. So make whatever height adjustments you need so that you can sit comfortably. Okay? So this is first how you get to the pose. Now, if you are high up on props, you're going to need something to lift you up a little bit higher from the floor. So you can use a chair. You could definitely use a pile of blankets. So let's say, for instance, you're going to be on a block, maybe a block and a blanket. The knees are still going to be apart, okay? Little pinky toes down, and then you could actually lean forward here, rest your forearms on a chair and your head on your forearms. All right. For those who can reach the floor and don't need a block, toes touch, knees, and then keeping the buttock down on the feet. So I'm going to descend the tailbone down a bit. And now as I start to reach forward, hands come in front of my knees, I still draw the tailbone down towards my heels. But as I do that, I don't let my chest sink. So my chest is going to go forward as my tailbone goes down. So the front body goes this way, back body goes that way. And then I slowly walk my hands forward. Ears in line with the arms. So I want the armpit here to open on up, but keep the buttock moving down towards the heels. If you have a shoulder issue, you can turn the palms out to the sides so your fingers go out, and now it helps to turn the arms in the socket, making more space in the shoulder. And then once again, bring the head in between the arms.
but keep the tailbone moving down. And if you're on the floor, lift your head slightly, walk your hands back towards your knees. To inhale and come on up. And if you're resting on the head and the forearms on the chair, you just press into the chair, inhale and come on up. Now because we've been in the pose, the back of your knees are going to get a little cramped. So you want to open up the back of the knees again. So to do that, you come forward on all fours. And now stretch one leg back, curl the toes under, and press into the heel to open the back of your knee. So go back and forth on either side as many times as you need to, pressing through the heel to open the knee. And then cross the ankles behind you and roll over your feet to stretch your legs out. Okay? All right. So for the fourth pose we're going to do is Utthita Trikonasana, which is extended triangle pose. For this pose, you're going to need 2 blocks. So have them in the tall position in the back corners of your mat. And then just watch here. So we're going to step the feet apart about 3.5 to 4 feet apart, toes pointing forward. Okay? Now to go to the right, I'm going to turn my left toes in, my right leg all the way out. So to do that, I lift the toes up, I turn on the heel and point the toes directly to the right wall. So the whole inner edge of my foot is going to be facing forward and my inner thigh. Tailbone still goes down. Chest lifted. And then you come over. You can use your hand on your leg. You can use your hand on your block. Or if you want to, you can also reach down to the floor, depending on how you're doing right now. And come on up. Okay. So now, feet forward, 3.5 to 4 feet wide. Turn your left toes in, right toes all the way out. Now get the tailbone to go down towards the floor so you feel the front of the hip lift and open on up. Lift your chest, extend your arms. Now as you keep your legs straight, especially your right leg, on an exhale, reach out through your right arm, keeping the right arm straight. So notice how I'm extending the whole right side of my trunk. And then let the armpit come down and then the hand, and place your hand onto your prop or your leg. Left hand onto your hip. So now you have to open up the back of this leg. Keep the tailbone moving down towards your back heel so you're not going to let the abdomen drop down. Lift the abdomen up. Roll the shoulder back. Now to come up, reach the arm up, press into your feet, and as you reach up, let that carry the body up and back into the center of the legs, and then turn your feet to face forward, relax your arms. Once again, inhale the arms up, turn your right toes in, your left leg all the way out. Now as you once again, tailbone down, chest lifted, on an exhale, keep the left leg straight as you extend out through the left arm. And then float the hand down to your prop, your leg, your block, whatever you can. Keep your right hand on your hip to start off with. So now keep both of your legs straight, opening up the back of this knee. And breathe. To come on out, extend your right arm up. Press into your feet and reach up through your right arm to come up and out. Relax your arms, turn your feet to face forward once again. We're going to repeat that one more time. So now turn your left leg in, right leg all the way out. Inhale the arms up. On an exhale, keep your legs straight. So now reach up through that right arm. Reach, reach, reach. Let the whole right side be very open. And then hand down, left arm up. So extend out through the collarbones into the hands. Tailbone goes towards your back heel. And think of taking this bottom right armpit away from your hip. So as your hip goes that way, let the armpit go away from the hip. So see how that straightens me out? So you want to keep this area very open in here. And reach up. Press into the feet. Inhale, lift up through the left arm. Come back up. Relax your arms. Turn your feet to face forward. And second side. Right leg in, left leg all the way out. Inhale the arms up. On an exhale, reach out through the left arm. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. Come down onto your prop or your leg. Right arm up. So now you don't want to do this kidney bean. So think of that as the hip goes in, take the armpit away from the hip. Straighten that side out. And breathe. Keeping the legs straight. Inner edge of the left foot pressing down. Tailbone towards the back right heel. And now on an inhale, lift up through the arm, pressing into the feet. Come on up. Relax your arms. Turn your feet to face forward. And heel toe the legs together. Stand in Tadasana. Mountain pose. Now we're going to be doing Virabhadrasana II pose, which is Warrior II. So for this, you don't need your blocks. So it's very similar to Trikonasana. It starts off exactly the same with a slight difference in the bending of the front leg, okay? Now when you do the bending of the front leg, and I'll show you from the side, when you take the legs apart, okay? So just like I did before, the tailbone has to go down to the floor, my chest has to lift. So now as I come down, this is Trikonasana from the side, okay? But now the difference with Virabhadrasana II is the knee. This front leg has to bend, but I want to track my knee over the center of my second and third toe. Not forward, but a little further back, okay? So as the knee goes slightly back, the tailbone and the sacrum has to move into the body, okay? Now, standing in Tadasana. Now jump or step the feet apart, 3.5, 4 feet wide, very wide stance. Now you're going to turn your left leg in, right leg all the way out. Inhale the arms up at shoulder height, palms facing the floor. So now same thing. You have to press the left heel down, the tailbone still has to go down into the floor, chest has to remain lifted. Okay? And now as you exhale, you're going to bend your right knee. But now as you bend the right knee, get the knee to go slightly back towards the little toe, a little more. And look down at your right knee. Make sure that the center of your kneecap is tracking over your second and third toe. As the knee goes back, you'll feel how the sacrum kind of moves in. And sit. And extend more through your left arm as you bend the right leg. So notice how my trunk is very vertical here. Same thing in the Sukhasana Twist. I have to keep that verticality of my trunk. And then inhale, come up. Turn your feet to face forward. Now turn your right leg in, your left leg all the way out. Be firm in your legs. Tailbone down, chest lifted. And now on an exhale, press into that back heel. Keep that right heel down as you bend the left leg. Keep the left knee moving towards your little toe a bit more. So your sacrum moves in, tailbone down. Okay, so you want to get that knee to open up. 90-degree angle of the knee here. Straight calf. So your shin should be vertical. And then reach out more through your right arm. So you're moving away from your bent knee. Good. Tailbone down, chest lifted. Inhale, come on up. Turn your feet forward, relax your arms. So one more time. So now we're going to turn left leg in, right leg all the way out. Inhale the arms up. So thinking tailbone down, chest up. Tailbone down, chest up. Bend the right knee. Let the knee move back, tailbone down. And now reach more through your back arm. Don't let the body collapse over the bent leg. Move away from the bent leg. And then if you feel comfortable, turn your head to look over your right arm. So you want to open the front of the body, front of the chest. And then inhale, come on up. Relax your arms, turn your feet to face forward. Second side. So now turn your right leg in, left leg all the way out. Inhale the arms up, shoulder height, palms down. Tailbone down, chest up. So now as you keep bending the left leg, keep pressing through the right foot. Outer right foot down, left leg bending, move the knee back. Knee back, tailbone down, chest lifted. And now reach more through your right arm, and then slowly turn your head to look over your left hand. And then face forward, straighten your leg, relax your hands, turn your feet to face forward, and heel toe the legs together. So now we're going to be moving into a pose called Ardha Chandrasana, which means half moon pose. We're going to be doing with and without support. Okay? We're going to first use the wall to help give us a sense of direction. So you're going to need a block handy and a wall. You're going to have the block on your right hand side, relatively close to the wall. Okay? Now, what we're going to do here is this. We're going to stand with our back to the wall, so I want you to watch first. Have your back to the wall, and then your block is going to be just behind your right heel. So now, as I turn my left leg in a little bit, my right leg all the way out, so it's going to look like triangle pose or the beginning of Virabhadrasana II. Okay, so now as I get the tailbone to go down, my chest to remain lifted. Now as I bend the knee, so this is Virabhadrasana, which we just did. So the tailbone's going down, my leg is moving towards the wall, my back body is mirroring the wall, it's parallel. Now to go into Ardha Chandrasana, I'm going to reach out like I did in Trikonasana, take the hand to the block. This hand goes to my hip. So now I have to keep this knee moving back, this shoulder moving towards the back wall. Okay? But now here's the trick. I'm going to move the block forward in line with my little toe. I'm going to hop in on my left leg. I want to bear weight in my right foot, weight in my right hand. So now I'm going to move the block a little bit further so my arm is straight. Now as I hop, hop, now I'm going to test and see. So now as I lift the toe up, I feel weight go into my right foot, weight into my right hand. And now as I lift, straighten my right leg, take my left foot to the wall, and now roll my shoulder to the back wall. So it's like wallpapering your back body to the wall, and then you take your hand up. So notice how my hand and my leg are the same distance apart as the side of my trunk. My hand is not too far forward. You want a nice rectangle here. Even sides. This leg is just level with my hip. I'm not letting the leg go too far up or too far down because it makes my balance kind of feel weird. So keep the heel in line with your buttock bone. Okay? Now to come out, you're going to turn back, bend your leg, lower the up leg down, come back and come back up. Okay? All right. Here we go. Stand it back against the wall, 1 foot in, right leg all the way out. Extend the arms up. So have the back body mirroring the wall, parallel to the wall. So now when you bend your right leg, okay, now take your hand to the block, left hand to your hip. So now keep moving your bent right leg towards the wall. Now, as you start to hop in with your back left leg, slide the block forward and do a touch and go. Okay? Touch and go with that back left leg. Move the block a little more forward. Feel the weight go into your right foot and your right hand and lift. And touch. Lift and touch. Lift. Straighten your right leg. Take your left heel to the wall. And now roll the shoulder against the wall. You're not going to fall back because the wall's there. And now as you keep turning your abdomen towards your straight up leg, take your hand to the wall. There you go. And breathe. And to come out, take your hand back onto your hip. Now you have to activate your up leg. Slowly start to bend your right leg and now reach back for the floor, moving your block in. So now you come back nice and elegantly. And then inhale and come on up. Now do the second side. Take your block, move it over to the left side now. So now turn your right leg in, your left leg all the way out. So now the block and your left foot are parallel to one another. Inhale the arms up. So now as you exhale, you're going to come over to the block, take your hand to the block, right hand to your hip. Bend your left leg. Slide the block forward. And now start to hop in on your right leg. Okay. Move the block a little forward if you need to. So now feel the weight in your left foot and your left hand and touch and go. Feel the weight go into the foot and the hand. Once you feel stable enough, take the heel up. Keep your left leg straight, left arm straight, heel to the wall. Roll the shoulder back towards the wall. So take this right shoulder back, left heel to the wall, and then roll the bottom body, which is your left side, forward. And then if you feel stable enough, take your hand to the wall. So now the back body is going towards the wall. So to counteract that, press the inner edge of your left foot down to the floor. Feel how your buttock moves in. Now when you're ready to come out, take your right hand back to your hip. Turn to look down at your block. Bend your left leg. Take your right leg. Reach back. Move your block with it. Come back into the pose with the bent knee. And then inhale and come on up. Okay. So now we're going to try that in the middle of the floor. So the same thing has to apply here. So when I do it from the side, I turn my left leg in, my right leg out, all the way out. Tailbone still has to go down, my arms are here. So now when I reach, hand comes to the block. So this is what I was talking about before. The knee has to go back towards your forearm. Okay?
So now as I start to move the block forward in front of me, I'm going to hop in, hop in. Block comes a little more forward if I need to. So now I touch and go. So now here's where people get very unstable. So I have to press the inner edge of that foot down as I start to roll the shoulder back. Heel back. Okay. All right. Have your blocks handy. So now step or jump the feet apart. Left foot in, right foot all the way out. Inhale the arms up, tailbone down, chest lifted. On an exhale, bend the right leg. Take your hand to the block, left hand to your hip. And now, as you look down at the block, slide the block in the direction of the little pinky toe, straight forward. Hop in on your left leg. Keep weight in your right hand, right foot, and touch and go. Touch and go. So as you press the inner edge of the foot down, you could keep looking at the floor. Start to roll the top left hip back. If you feel stable enough, you could take the hand up, but if not, keep it on the hip. And then to come down, hand to the hip. Reach through this foot. Bend the standing leg. Reach back, touch down. Inhale, come on up. And second side. So now, second side, going to the left, right leg in, left leg all the way out. Inhale the arms up, tailbone down, chest lifted. Now as you bend the left leg, reach out through the left arm, take your hand onto your prop, in line with the little toe, and now slide the block straight ahead in line with the little toe, hop in on the right leg, so you get weight bearing in the hand and the foot, inner edge of the foot down, and now touch and go. So now to balance yourself, press the inner edge of the foot down, start to roll the top right shoulder up towards the ceiling. If you feel unsteady, keep looking down at the floor, but if you feel steady, whoop, roll the shoulder forward and take the hand up. And to come down, hand to the hip, bend your standing left leg, reach back with the right leg, inhale and come on up. Okay, bring the feet together, rest into Tadasana. So now, we're going to do Adho Mukha Svanasana, which will be the seventh pose on that handout. Coming down to your hands and your knees. You have the option of either turning the fingertips out to the sides or forward. But this gives you the option of really rolling the inner arms towards your outer arms when the fingertips are out to the sides. But in both versions, you have to keep the inner arms still rolling towards the outer arms. Okay? So now as you roll the inner arm towards the outer arm, keeping your chest open, knees underneath the hips, curl your toes under. And now as you lift the knees off the floor, press into the index finger mound and the thumb mound. Roll the inner arms towards the back of your head. Lift the heels up to lift the back of the thighs up. And now get your tailbone to go slightly towards the back of the legs, so as not to let the abdomen collapse. And then slowly begin to bring the inner heels down towards the floor. Breathe normally in and out through the nose.
going to exhale, bend the knees, release the knees to the floor. Rest in the table position for a moment. And then once again, come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inner arms towards the outer arms. Knees underneath the hips. Press into the toes. Lift the knees up. Come back in. So lift the back of the thighs up. Tailbone slightly down towards the heels. And then move the thigh bones back. Keep rolling the inner arms towards the outer arms. So the inner arms come towards the ears and the inner thighs move away from the front of the body. Let the back of the thighs spread apart and breathe. And then release the knees to the floor. And then walk your hands back towards your knees. To inhale, come on up. Okay. So for the next pose, we're going to do Bharadvajasana, which is a seated twist in a chair. If you have a backless folding chair, that's great. If you don't, any chair would work as long as it doesn't have arms on the sides. Okay? Your chair is going to go with the right side of the chair, the back chair on your right side. We're going to sit sideways in the chair. Now, what I will point out is you want to get the knees to be towards the edge of the seat. If your feet don't quite touch, you need to put something underneath the chair so your feet are grounded. So a blanket will work, a block, whatever you have handy. So now once your feet are planted on the floor and the knees are towards the edge of the seat, you want to keep the toes, inner edges pressing down and toes slightly moved in. You don't want to be looking like a pigeon. So bring the toes in, feet down. Now move the tailbone down into the chair so you feel the front of the hips move away from your lap. Lift your sternum chest. Take your right hand to the back of the chair. Now point your thumb down because this is a good way to remind you the direction of where you need to go with this. So as I slide my thumb from the front edge of my chair to the back edge of my chair, I can hook with my index webbing of my thumb. So now the shoulder starts to get pulled back. The left hand, you're going to use your index finger or your middle finger to curl and curl onto the other edge of the chair. Tailbone down, chest lifted. And now once again, starting at the base, you're going to roll the abdomen towards your outer right hip. Lift your chest. Turn the ribs. So now the outer left ribs are coming forward towards the chair. Your right ribs are moving away from the chair. And now use your hands here to push in with the right hand so the shoulder rolls in towards the spine, and you want to bring your left armpit towards the back of the chair. Inhale, lift, and then lastly, you're going to turn the head to look over your right shoulder. So as the tailbone goes down, I want you to feel the turning of the abdomen. And then to come out, you slowly turn your head, your shoulders, your ribs, and then lastly your abdomen back forward. To do the second side, you're just going to turn your chair around the other way. Once again, feet firmly planted. Press the inner edges of your feet down. Make sure the knees are at the very edge of the chair. Tailbone into the chair seat. Left arm on the back of the chair. Point your left thumb down. So now as you slide the thumb back, you're going to hook with the webs, the index webbing of the finger here, the thumb and the index finger. Now tailbone down. You're going to use your middle finger and your index finger to hook the other edge of the chair. So as your tailbone goes down, your chest lifts up. And now start to turn your navel over towards your outer left hip. Pause. Inhale, lift. As you exhale, turn the ribs. So now your left ribs are going to go back, your right ribs are going to go forward without forcing. Inhale, lift. Now use your hands to draw the left shoulder in towards the spine and your right armpit towards the chair. Keep the inner feet pressing down. And then lastly, as you inhale, once again, keep the chest lifted, tailbone down. And now as you exhale, slowly turn the head to look over your left shoulder. But don't forcefully turn the head. And breathe. And to come out, you slowly turn the head back towards center, shoulders, ribs, and then lastly the abdomen. And now just sit up tall, let both sides even out. All right. And then you're going to remove your blanket, remove your chair, and then prepare for Shavasana. Now when you prepare for Shavasana, I want you to actually sit with your feet on the floor, your legs bent. Because what I want you to do is draw an imaginary line from the tip of the toes, between the legs, navel, sternum, chest, chin, nose. So you're in that nice even line. So when you come down, you're not coming down at a cockeye angle, okay? So now I'm going to turn this way. So keeping that central line nice and level, lean back so your fingertips are going to point towards your toes. So now I want you to think of taking your tailbone towards your feet. And now watch the inner legs. As you come down, keep that central line nice and even so you don't come over to the left or to the right. Once your head is down, lift your toes up off the floor and scrub your heels along the floor so now your legs are elongated, and let the little toes drop down. Take your arms out to the sides, a little wider than your hips, palms facing up. And now let the legs go. The tailbone is curling ever so slightly up towards the ceiling. Let the little toes drop down towards the floor. Relax your abdomen. Let the inner arms roll towards the outer arms so that your outer arms are tucked underneath you ever so slightly. Let the fingertips just naturally curl. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue, and relax your eyes.
Now to come on up, take a nice, soft, smooth inhalation, a soft, quiet exhalation, and return to your natural breath. Slowly bend your legs one at a time and place your feet flat on the floor. And then cross your left arm over your chest and then roll all the way over onto your right side. Just remain heavy on your right. And on your next exhale, roll more towards the floor. And as you face the floor, press your left hand down to slowly lift yourself on up into a seated position. And once again, close the eyes and release the head down. And on an inhalation, lift the chest and lift the head and draw the palms together in front of the heart. And as you inhale, ascend the heart, and as you exhale, bow the head. Saluting the essence of yoga, the light of yoga inside yourself. And on an inhalation, lift your head. Gazing at the floor in front of you, slowly open your eyes and lift your gaze to look on out. Namaste. So I'd also like to remind you before you go to subscribe and also like the videos, and that way you know you want to see more. And hopefully I'll see you next time.